Hi everyone, welcome back to a new episode from DGMZ. For all our returning viewers, we are so happy that you could join us again. And for the new viewers who have tuned into the podcast for the first time, we are very happy to have you here. As always, for our new viewers, I would highly recommend accessing the introduction to DGMZ episode because that will give you a good insight and background into the motivation and objective behind this podcast. Also, for your awareness, we currently have two playlists. One of the playlists has all these weekend episodes where we get into one ghazal at a time from Diwan-e-Ghalib, and the other playlist would have additional topics still focused on Urdu poetry, still focused on Mirza, but not the ghazal impressions. So do explore both the playlists and tune into the episodes that interest you. Now, if you were with me in the last episode, you would know that we completed Ghazal 14 last week. And this week, therefore, we get to start a whole new Ghazal, Ghazal 15. अब इस गज़ल में 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 8 शेर हैं, and we might have to split it into more than one episodes, but that we will see as we get into the impressions. Now, as always, I'm going to read through the entire ghazal once, and then we will get into the impressions verse by verse. So this is how it goes. मतलब अर्ज़ किया है, शब की बर्क़-ए-सोज़-ए-दिल से ज़हरा-ए-अब्र आप था। शब की बर्क़-ए-सोज़-ए-दिल से ज़हरा-ए-अब्र आप था। शोला-ए-जव्वाला हर एक हल्का-ए-गिरदाब था। वां करम को उज़्र-ए-बारिश था इनान-गीर-ए-खिराम। वां करम को उज़्र-ए-बारिश था इनान-गीर-ए-खिराम। गिरिये से यहाँ पम्बे-बालिश कफ-ए-सैलाब था। वां खुदा-आराई को था मोती पिरोने का ख्याल। वां खुदा-आराई को था मोती पिरोने का ख्याल। या हुजूम-ए-अश्क में तार-ए-निगाह नायाब था। जलवा-ए-गुल ने किया था वां चरागाह आबजू। जलवा-ए-गुल ने किया था वां चरागाह आबजू। या रवा मिज़हगान-ए-चश्म-ए-तर से खून-ए-नाब था। या सर-ए-पुर-शोर बे-ख्वाबी से था दीवार-जू। या सर-ए-पुर-शोर बे-ख्वाबी से था दीवार-जू। वां वो फ़र्क़-ए-नाज़ महव-ए-बालिश-ए-कम-ख्वाब था। या नफस करता था रोशन शमा-ए-बज़म-ए-बे-खुदी। या नफस करता था रोशन शमा-ए-बज़म-ए-बे-खुदी। जलवा-ए-गुल वां बिसात-ए-सोहबत-ए-अहबाब था। फर्श से ता अर्श वां तूफ़ान था मौजे रंग का। फर्श से ता अर्श वां तूफ़ान था मौजे रंग का। या ज़मी से आसमां तक सोख्तन का बाब था। मतलब किया है, नागहां इस रंग से खून-ए-नाब टपकाने लगा। नागहां इस रंग से खून-ए-नाब टपकाने लगा। दिल की ज़ौक़े कविश नाखून से लज्जत याब था। So this is a very interesting ghazal, though not a lot of word complexes in it, but definitely complicated words. So we will have to we will have to take our time in sieving out the detailed meaning. But it is an interesting ghazal, and since I have already done the research on it, I would like to give you a heads up, not as a warning, but as an encouragement that this is one of those ghazals where you should get ready to be taken on a ride, if you may, of a very rare visualization and illustration Ghalib brings to the table. And during that, he uses a lot of exaggeration, and he uses a lot of unbelievable intensity, but with such ease and mastery that he just makes it believable. He just rationalizes the extreme intensity and the exaggeration so convincingly that you're left with no doubt that all this is actually happening. He paints a picture which would beat your, which would be questioned by your logical mind, but you will believe it. You will believe it because it is done with such mastery and finesse. So, with that heads up, let's get into the first verse. शब की बरक़े-सोज़-ए-दिल से ज़हर-ए-अब्र आब था, शोला-ए-जव्वाला हर एक हल्का-ए-गिरदाब था. So, let's do an approximate translation first. So, Shab is night, Barq-e-Soz-e-Dil se, lightning that is caused by the burning or the heat or the passion coming from the heart, being emanated from the heart. Zahra-e-Abr aab tha. So, Zahra is a beautiful word. It is usually used to symbolize the radiance or the countenance or the beauty, brightness, illumination of something. Right? By extension, it can also be used to symbolize courage or might that something holds within itself. Right? So that is what Zahra is. And Abr-e-Aab is, Abr is clouds, Aab is water. So in the first line, Ghalib says, Shab ki Barq-e-Soz-e-Dil se Zahra-e-Abr aab tha. So last night or in the night, right? The lightning that was produced by the heat and the passion and the burning of my heart, of course in pain and misery, what it did was, this lightning from my heart struck the clouds above. It struck the clouds above and it melted the radiance or the illumination, by extension the lightning within the clouds. It melted it into water. So he's almost saying that I turned the lightning these clouds contained into water when I struck their lightning with the lightning I produced from my heart sitting here on earth. And again, you have to give him uh, you have to give him credit for making it believable, though it beats all rationale and logic. So the usually lightning by its nature will strike from heavens down to the earth. It will come down from heaven to earth. But here Ghalib is saying, not tonight, not this particular night, when my heart is burning with an intensity that beats anything and everything in terms of heat, right? And instead of the usual lightning striking from the heavens on earth, tonight the lightning is striking from earth onto the heavens, and striking in such a way that the clouds in the heavens, which have their own lightning in them, which is supposed to be the most powerful, is melting. And what does melting of the clouds symbolize? Rain. So he is making those clouds rain. He's taking away their lightning. Almost seems as if he's putting the lightning held within the clouds to shame by the lightning he is producing from this burning heart. That is the amount of pain. This is beyond pain. This is just burning and destruction of the heart. And while it is getting destructed and burnt up, it is creating this intense energy and heat, thanks to all the pain and the misery and the emotion and the intensity it holds, that it is destroying elemental powers to be. So yeah, that's how it comes across in the first line. And then in the second line he says, Sholaa-e-Jawwaala har ek Halqa-e-Girdaab tha. So Sholaa-e-Jawwaala, now Shola is fire, right? Jawwaala is something moving in circles, moving very fast, almost spinning, circulating in circles. So Sholaa-e-Jawwaala, the flames are moving in these concentric circles very fast, right? Because what he has done is he has sent lightning from his heart into the clouds. And this lightning has dissolved all the lightning which was present in the clouds and turned it to water. And now it is this lightning produced by Ghalib, which is up in the sky. And it is producing these concentric circles of fire, just like you would see sometimes in the circuses, right, where they create those rings of fire, something akin to that. And then he goes on to say in the second line, Har ek Halqa-e-Girdaab tha. Halqa is kind of a firework or a fire display, and Girdaab is again whirlpool or vortex. So now that we have gone through both the lines, this is how the visualization or sequence of event pans out in this Sher. So Ghalib is on earth. It is one of those nights when his heart is burning in pain. The intensity of the pain and the misery and the burning creates lightning, which strikes the clouds in the sky, melts their lightning, and turns it into water, making the clouds rain. So now it is going to rain, but this lightning which Ghalib has sent up will come down along with that rain like concentric circles of fire. So it is raining fire. It is raining fire. He can see his lightning coming down with those melting clouds like fire, rings of fire. So Ghalib sent something from earth to the heavens, and then heavens sends it right back to Ghalib. And he is drawing the whole visualization and picturization of that. Moving on, so before we do that, there are some beautiful words used in this Sher, right? And it would be worth our time to get into them a little. So the first one which I wanted to cover was Jawwaala, right? So Jawwaala, like I said, is this spinning, circulating, concentric movement, right? Now, the second word was halqa, which is a kind of a firework, right? And I found this share from Ghalib himself, where he uses this word. Dame har mauj mein hai halqa-e-sad mein nahang, देखें क्या गुजरे है कतरे पे गौहर होते तक. So, by approximate translation, what Ghalib is saying is that in every wave of the sea, right, there are hundreds of dangers lurking in almost concentric. There are hundreds of dangers lurking in concentric circles. And Nahang, when translated, means a crocodile or a water reptile, right? So Ghalib is saying these waves of the sea have hundreds of dangers lurking in them in concentric circles. And you know, crocodiles have this very, very typical habit of circling around, right? And then in the second line, he says, "Dekhen kya guzre hai katre pe gohar hone tak." So basically, he's saying, let's wait and see what this drop of water will have to face. All what this drop of water will have to face before it actually turns into a pearl. That's a long journey for a drop of water to turn into a pearl. So Ghalib is clearly saying that these concentric circles of danger lurking in the sea. Let's see whether this little teeny weeny drop will survive. All that danger. And then there's this other शेर by मुनव्वर राना. हमारी हर परेशानी इन्हीं लोगों के दम से है, हमारा साथ ये जो हल्का-ए-अहबाब रहता है. So approximately translated, the Sher says that all my problems, all my anguish, all my misery is because of these people. And in the second line, it explains that these people who are around me like a circle of friends. So basically, by extension, my friends are my foes, right? They are the ones who give me the most problem, most pain, most anguish. And naturally so, right? Because the people who can hurt you are the ones you are close to or you love, like your friends, right? So that's another one. And then those were the two that came to mind. Now let's move on to the second शेर. वां करम को उज़्र-ए-बारिश था इनान-गीर-ए-खिराम. So Vaan, there, And you will see that dynamic in this whole ghazal. Vaan will be where the beloved is, Ya will be where Ghalib is. So he will, now from the second verse onwards, he will start drawing parallels. And just again to give you a little insight into it, he will draw parallels where he will say that on the surface, visually, it might seem that the same thing is happening at both ends, at my end and at her end. But below the surface, it is totally different. Different as in almost opposite. So on the surface, things might look as if, we both are in tandem. Whatever is happening to me is happening to her. Whatever is happening to her is happening to me. But look below the surface and you will find that it might look the same, but it is not the same by the farthest stretch of imagination. So keep that in mind and you will enjoy these verses even more. So, Vaan Karam ko Uzr-e-Baarish tha Inaan-Giir-e-Khiraam. Lot of complicated words, we will break them down. Vaan Karam ko, there Karam. So, ये बात तो बहुत प्यारी लगी. Karam, when translated, means the kind one, the generous one, the benevolent one, right? And इस तरह से मुखातिब कर रहे हैं अपनी बिलवेड को करम कह के. तो अब अपनी समझ है, आप ये भी कह सकते हैं कि ही इज़ बीइंग सरकास्टिक, राइट, बिकॉज करम तो वो कभी करती नहीं है, हमेशा तकलीफ ही पहुंचाती. शी इज़ ऑलवेज हर्टिंग हिम, शी इज़ ऑलवेज बीइंग a reason for pain and anguish, right? Then why is he addressing her as the benevolent one? Is he being sarcastic? And the second explanation would be that he actually genuinely means it. Despite whatever she does, he still thinks that she's a benevolent, kind, generous person as far as he goes. And भाई वो क्या करम है, क्या benevolence है that she has shared with him or that he believes in, only Ghalib knows. But he definitely addresses her as the kind, benevolent one, clearly documenting the fact that he does think about her like that. He doesn't hold anything against her. All this pain, misery will keep happening, but his impression or stance on her is that she is a kind, benevolent soul, right? So, Vaan Karam ko Uzr-e-Baarish tha Inaan-Giir-e-Khiraam. So, Uzr-e-Baarish, so Uzr is some kind of an excuse, or by extension an apology, or kind of denying something, not doing something, not saying something. So Uzr-e-Baarish, excuse of the rain, denial of something because of the rain, right? So Vaan Karam ko Uzr-e-Baarish, so there that benevolent one used the excuse of rain, Inaan-Giir-e-Khiraam, to pull back the reins of an action she was taking. Inaan-Giir is Ina is the bridle, right, or the rein, and Giir is somebody very accomplished, somebody very brave, right? Somebody who is a warrior, a victorious warrior, if you may. And Khiraam is the gait, the way you walk, your stature. So Ghalib is saying that she has used the excuse of the rain as a rain that will pull back, that will pull back her uh, advancing steps towards me, or her walking towards me. So picturization again is just so eloquent and so detailed, right? So in this share, one thing that struck me was that usually in the ghazal, Ghalib is usually capturing a scenario where he's just waiting for her to agree to come and meet him, or he's just waiting for her to agree to come whenever, right? But in this couplet, he wants to clarify that tonight he was not doing that kind of waiting for her. Tonight it was an agreed upon meeting. There was an agreement between both the parties. They were supposed to meet. They were supposed to meet. And that's why probably so much effort in using the example and symbology of somebody reigning in a horse, almost, right? A warrior just reining in their horse as it was galloping towards something, right? To emphasize the fact that she was on her way, and then used the excuse of this rain coming down to retrace her steps, advancing steps towards me. So he wants that clarity to be perceived, right? That she was coming towards me, she was coming to meet me, and down came this rain, and then she used this as an excuse not to come. And she just stopped her advancing steps towards me. And this is a rare scenario. We don't see that in ghazals a lot from Ghalib, where she's coming to meet him, right? Or she had agreed to meet him. Usually, यहाँ तक बात पहुँचती ही नहीं है. Usually there is no such agreement. So that is what is happening there. So Ghalib, in the first verse, he has made it rain. And he has made it rain like never before, right? Fire and water coming down. Now, that rain has been used as an excuse by the beloved to stop her advancing steps towards him. And in the second line, he says, Girye se yahan. So Girye is crying, weeping, wailing, lamenting, right? Just pain-filled, pain-drenched cries, right? So he says, and here at my end, because of the crying, Pumba-e-Baalish. Baalish is anything you use to give support to your head when you're resting. So it can be a pillow, it can be a cushion, it can be anything. And Pumb is cotton. So he's saying, Girye se yahan, here, because of my crying, the cotton of the pillow, Kaf-e-Sailaab tha. Kaf is the froth or the foam we usually see on the top of the waves in the sea. And Sailaab is, of course, deluge, a whole flood. So he's saying that just like that froth and foam you would see atop waves in the sea, similarly the cotton from my pillow is floating. Now, if the cotton is floating, that means there's a lot of water under it, almost as much as that of a sea, for that cotton to just float on it like the froth and foam would float on a wave in the sea or in the sea, right? So you can just, like I said, the exaggeration, right? So first of all, making cotton float is not an easy task, because cotton is one of the most absorbent materials. सारा पानी तो वो पी जाएगी. It will soak all the water. It can soak a lot of water, And what will happen? Then it will become really dense and heavy. And now Ghalib is saying this soaked in water, dense and heavy cotton is floating like froth and foam. So you can only imagine the amount of water in that pillow. And by water, of course, he means his tears. So the crying has been uncontrollable. So much that the pillow has almost disintegrated. It has been destructed by the crying. And the cotton from inside it is now out, floating like a froth or foam. That's the picturization. Did he cry so much? Of course he did. Of course he did. How can you imagine these details unless you have not done it? This type of detail, इस type का ख्याल, इस type की imagination, it's amazing. It's amazing. Now, so basically ऐसा लगता है कि पहले शेर में जो बारिश उन्होंने करवा दी थी, अब उसका इम्पैक्ट देखना पड़ रहा है, राइट? उसका इम्पैक्ट झेलना पड़ रहा है. सो वो बारिश तो उन्होंने करवाई क्या थी, मतलब वो तो उनके दिल से आग निकल रही थी, एंड इतनी निकली कि it made it rain, but now that rain has become an excuse for the beloved not coming. So वो रेन हुई, beloved नहीं आई, और अब वो नहीं आई हैं. Thanks to that, there is this whole storm of tears happening now at his end. So water, a lot of water at both ends, but at her end it is just an excuse to not come, and at his end it is almost a flood that will probably inevitably drown him in itself too. Right now it is the pillow. Right now it is the pillow. Now, एक अहमद फराज का बहुत प्यारा शेर है. एक उम्र से हूँ लज्जते गिरिया से भी महरूम. एक उम्र से हूँ लज्जते गिरिया से भी महरूम, ए राह तेजा मुझको रुलाने के लिए आ. So that word Girye, which Ghalib uses in his second line, right? That hear the Girya Seya and hear my crying, right? So this sher from Ahmad Faraz says that it has been a while. It has almost been a lifetime that I have been kept away even from the taste of crying. Lazzate Girya, right? So even from the taste of crying. So of course nothing good has come my way. Nothing happy has come my way, but all this while I have been kept away even from the taste of crying. So my dear beloved, why don't you come and make me cry? वो जो दूसरा वो गज़ल है ना उनकी, रंजिशी सही दिली दुखाने के लिए आया. If nothing else, just come and make me cry. At least let me taste something. Let me taste the taste of my tears. Of course, you will not give me any happiness, joy or love, but at least this will do for now. And then this one is from Lala Madhav Ram Jauhar. नौबते गिरिया ओ बेताबी ओ जारी आई, बड़े हंगामे से कल याद तुम्हारी आई. गज़ब का शेर है. So basically, approximately translated, with my crying or thanks to my crying, there came over me this feeling of intense desolation, despair, pain. And it just encompassed me. It just surrounded me all around. And then in the second line, he says, and that is the magnificence, and that is the aplomb with which your thought came to me. So thinking of you just puts me in this all encompassing environment of crying and pain and despair. That is the magnificence of your memory or thinking about you. Okay, now moving on to the third sher. वां खुद-आराई को था मोती पिरोने का ख्याल, या हुजूम-ए-अश्क में तार-ए-निगाह नायाब था. So Vaan there, Khud-Aaraaii ko. So Khud is yourself, Arai is decorating. So self-decoration, self-adornment. Moti pirone ka khayal. As part of her self-adornment, she was contemplating weaving pearls in her hair, right, as an accessory. Yeah. Meanwhile, here, at my end, Hujuum-e-Ashk. Hujuum is again Hujuum is a flood. It is a something that overpowers you. Something that overpowers you. It can be an onslaught, almost a swarming of something, rushing in of something, right? So Hujuum-e-Ashk. Ashk is tears. So Ghalib is saying that is what she was doing there, thinking of weaving pearls into her hair. And here at my end, I was facing this onslaught of tears, which came rushing upon me. Onslaught of tears. Taar-e-Nigaah nayaab tha. Because of which, Taar-e-Nigaah. So tar is usually a thread, and Nigaah is sight. So the thread of my sight, right, or basically my line of sight, nayaab, rare. So rare that sometimes absent, not available. So my line of sight became more rare. In fact, it got blocked. So as we all know, when we cry, our vision gets fuzzy, right? It gets impacted. You cannot see clearly. And more so when it is unushed tears, right? Once they start flowing down, you still start seeing a little better, but when they are not rolling down your cheeks and they're still in your eyes, caught up in your eyelashes, you can barely see anything. Everything is very blurry. So again, the detail, right? The detail. So in this couplet, it almost seems he's talking of pearls at both ends. So on the surface, visually, they were pearl-like things happening at both ends. Now at her end, she was weaving actual pearls in her hair for self-adornment, to make herself beautiful. At Ghalib's end, he landed up with these pearl-like tears on his eyelashes, right? And he landed up putting pearls of tears on his eyelashes, or his eyelashes through the pearls of tears, which rendered him incapable of even seeing anything. There she's seeing and indulging in her almost self-adulation, right? And here Ghalib is losing his sight because of what he landed up putting it on his eyes, right? Or weaving on his eyelashes. So the contrast. So pearls at both ends, but definitely uh, she is using those pearls for beauty, and at Ghalib's end, he is losing his sight thanks to these pearl-like tears, which are weaved into his eyelashes. Yes. So I think, in interest of time, I will stop here. We have covered three couplets. We will pick up the fourth couplet in the next episode. I do genuinely hope you enjoyed listening to the three couplets. If you liked the impression, if you enjoyed the episode, um, would really request you to click like, leave a comment. If you know somebody who would enjoy this, do share it with them. All this only if you want to. Till we connect again in the next episode, lot of love and light, everyone. Thanks for watching.